My sister Elise referred me to a great spiritual psychologist that I love listening to. With her moving here really soon, I'll have one of my biggest cheerleaders by my side. I definitely need a back massage today. I've done the pillows positions specific ways, laying different positions, one of those silly looking exercises. I'm taking the pain medications, using the pain patches, although due to the location, I've ruled out the cervical spondylitis. It's not in the arthritis or pinched nerve in my neck. It's not the upper fused disc or the possible MS. Still waiting for those results. So that leaves the ankylosing spondylitis, the degenerative disc disease, or the pinched nerves in my lower back, or a combination of all of them. I have done everything I was told to do except see the back surgeon because of the word surgeon. I was instructed yesterday to at least go and find out what they suggest, and then we will take it from there. I will miss my big brother Philip. I will never forget the time he came to see me at the hospital, and he said,
"There was a dead body on the elevator with us."
The look on his face was priceless. There are so many more memories from over the last 20 years. When I grew up, I wanted to be just like him. Genuine, happy, loving, kind, and accepted people just the way they are. I love you, Philip. I know you will be another angel watching over me. You, Ricky, and Deborah, all gone too soon. It's sad when it takes longer to get to the doctor than the actual appointment. My doctor doesn't like the progression of my lower back, and the pain is starting to go down my legs. So back to another x-ray, and if it has changed since the last one 6 months ago, they will do another MRI on legs, back, and brain to determine if it's the back or the possible MS. I still refuse to claim that. I also have to go see the spine surgeon because he says he needs that doctor's opinion. Right leg to left leg.
You get up.
Left leg to right leg.
I got up first yesterday. You get up.
Brain.
Both of you shut up. I'm trying to sleep.
Well, I got up with good intentions this morning, did the laundry, made my bed, text back and forth with the two most important people to me. Then my body said,
"No more."
I knew something was off when I was texting because my hands didn't want to work. My equilibrium was so off, I would have gave myself a ticket for walking under the influence. My legs ache so bad, but no slurred speech, so I wasn't too concerned. I took one of the meds the nurse told me to take and laid down. Bad days happen. When Ricky passed, I asked a lot of those doubting God questions again, but I had a strong enough faith to know that God had his reasons, and it was okay to question him. It was okay to be mad. It was okay to allow myself to feel what I was feeling. After all, I am human. The difference was I didn't take it as a personal attack on me like I used to when something in my life didn't go the way I thought it should. I accepted that my future was not what Ricky or what I had planned, and that Ricky's job on earth was done, and I was to continue on. I take each day a moment at a time. God continues to bless me right now with the daily goal to put a smile on at least one person's face and build my relationship with God and the many others He put in my life this last year. He shows me little pieces of His plan for me as I get closer to Him. Each day I try to be better than I was the day before. I just came from the doctors. I don't know if I want to cry or be mad, but apparently the x-rays and other tests on my lower back from this week compared to the ones from 6 months ago show significant change, and surgery is no longer just a maybe option, it's a mandatory option. They want to go in and burn the nerves from the bottom of my spine and up 6 of those whatchamacallits. The procedures, the lumbar facet radio frequency neurotomomy, and the medical branch blocks will be done over a total of 4 procedures. They say if I keep putting it off, it will get to the point where functioning will become basically non-existent, and I will graduate from a walker to a wheelchair. Since we are talking about actually burning nerves, there is the possible chance of causing nerve damage, more pain, or ending up in a wheelchair anyway. The one thing that they did promise me is after the first procedure, if there has been no relief in pain, they will not continue with the other ones if I don't want to. The first one is scheduled for July 15th, when I get back from my vacation to New York. I'm not quite sure how much time is in between each one, but I do know that they have to wait to see if there's been a change after each one. The last 2 days haven't been too good, but they haven't been bad days. I found out this morning I can't eat syrup right now, and that really sucks. I had to stop the gummy multivitamin the doc put me on. We tried the lowest dose possible, but my body said no. This heat is not working, or I should say sun is not working this year. I'm on medications that have the warning, avoid direct sunlight. That is impossible here. When at doctor's the other day, he said, "You may have to move." It reminded me that's how I ended up in Las Vegas 18 years ago. My asthma was so bad, the doctor said if I didn't move, I may die. Haven't had an asthma attack until this year. Now my enemy is the sun. Get behind me, Satan. I must have the best view in the city for the 4th of July fireworks. I can see fireworks going off from behind me on the right side all the way around to remind me on the left side, not to mention the little kid on the ground across the street. And every time I think it's the final, they start back up, as I literally have been standing out here for 30 minutes watching fireworks go off from multiple locations. I hope the last part was the final, because my legs are really starting to hurt standing here. Well, apparently not, because they're still going. Unfortunately, there are also a lot of sirens going on too. Now I'll be hearing the ones that are cheaper, the shooting from the ground till they run out. I've been hearing fireworks for the last week, all the way up until 1 in the morning, so I don't expect tonight to be any different. Now my neck, back, legs, and feet hurt from trying to watch all of them, and they still are going on. I wonder how much the casinos paid for the fireworks this year. My heart is saddened today because cops are killing black men. Because snipers are killing cops. We have a black man hanging from a tree in Atlanta. We have racism on Facebook that has taken it to a whole new level. Right now I'm in my birth town, Queens, where I see people of every color cooperating, getting along, helping each other, from pale white blonde hair to what we used to call blue-black when I was little. The hotel I'm staying at has continental breakfast every morning from 6:30 to 9:30. And I see people making room for someone so they can sit next to them, not people moving stuff in the way of the other person because they don't want them to sit next to them. I have had more people go out of their way to help me, from employees to tourists, even if I didn't need it. And after breakfast, when I go back to my room, I turn on the news, and apparently the world I'm in right now, which is the way I believe it should be no matter what, is not what's going on in the real world. Because of the way I was brought up, I never could understand why people couldn't just get along with each other. I never knew I was a different color for a long time. And when I found out, I still could not understand why people could not get along with each other. Even now, 45 years later, I still cannot understand why people hate so much. You know, they say God only gives you what you can handle. And I'm starting to believe that I must be a very, very awesome person. A friend of mine's car engine exploded on them yesterday. Thank God he was able to get out the car before it turned into anything too serious. He worried about that car, and I understand, because it is needed for transportation for what he does for a living. But the thing that a lot of people seem to forget in situations like this is that material things can be replaced. Maybe not right away, but a life cannot be replaced. Or having to live with burns is not easily dealt with. I had a friend in high school that got burned because her mother was stripping the kitchen floor with ammonia and bleach, and the gas oven exploded. She did not survive eventually, but to this day I still can't remember how badly she was burned. I'm really early. My flight isn't till 8 a.m. and I was supposed to be here by 5, so I got 4 hours to waste. I am already checked in though. Did that by phone, so once I got here, just had to baggage check in. Now I'm set. I think I'm more sad about leaving. I didn't run into any rude people. Actually, everybody was really nice. It could have just been the area I was in. I was in my part of the town that I would have grew up in had I lived here as a child. I'm already trying to figure out how I can save up for my next trip. I just read an article where a lot of people wrote that you can't see love. I disagree. Love is an action, and even though I loved when Ricky told me that he loves me, I already knew by the things he did, how he talked about me, how he would sacrifice something he wanted or needed to make sure that I had something that I needed, how he'd take time to spend with me and listen to what was going on with me, how he took pride in me and loved to show me off, how he would call me on my BS when I'm trying to slip something by him because I do not want to do some work. Love is action. Love is a principle, and love is the greatest of all. At the end of June, when my pain management doctor, neurologist, and primary doctor had told me that the only choice we had left was surgery, and I saw the x-rays and the MRIs of my back compared to what a normal back should look like, I actually felt let down. Not by him, because he gave me the year I asked for, and we did everything possible from physical therapy, exercises, occupational therapy, the massages, the injection, the pain meds, the Humira injections, and everything possible that I was able to do based on the heart medications I'm already on. The whole year I prayed and asked God for some miracles, but each time they would do a set of x-rays, MRIs, and CAT scans, my conditions just got worse. I even got 3 different doctors' opinions, and they all agreed with the same outcome. I usually just say, whatever God's will, I'll accept it. But this was the first time I was actually praying that I wouldn't have to have the surgery. I have severe arthritis with inflammation in my back on both sides. That has gotten so bad that it has caused all the nerves to be pinched, and it caused other problems like certain functions being uncontrollable, that they have no choice but to go in and burn the nerve endings on both sides of my spine, which will take the total of 4 procedures. I also have degenerative disc disease, which they will discuss more when they schedule to do the C6 and 7 parts of my back. After I have recouped, we have to discuss the cervical spondylitis and the pinched nerves and the arthritis that's on the left side of my neck. Then my hands, where we have the carpal tunnel, arthritis, and nerve damage. which once again, unless there's a miracle, surgery will be the only solution. I work with my hands with crafts at home, on the computer or writing, and that helps with the arthritis part, but it doesn't help the carpal tunnel part. The nerve damage part has a mind of its own. It comes and goes when it wants to. The first one is scheduled for the 29th. That's Friday. With the second one scheduled for August 12th. I am not going to get into what if the surgeries don't work. I've been told by some people. I trust that they have a very good feeling about this, so I'm just going to leave it there. With my heart condition, this surgery is a little more complicated, and I need everything to run smoothly, and no adverse side effects, no vasospasm caused by my heart. I couldn't get anyone to go with me, so at the advice of two people, Dallas and Patrick, I went on faith. I asked God to forgive me beforehand for the little lies I had to tell when they kept asking me where my ride home was. And I watched God step in and handle that area. Normally, they don't take you back without verifying your ride. I watched them do it to 3 people before it was my turn. When the nurse came out to get me, she looked at me and said, "I remember you." And we just started walking to the back. The question never got asked. When I filled out the paperwork earlier, I had added a name at the top of my ride list that I didn't have on there before. So when they verified my ride home before they started prepping me, they said that person's name, even though the check-in nurse had used the name that was on my online pre-registration. When it was over and I was in recovery and it was time to go get my ride home from the waiting room, the nurse said, should she call? And she listed the person's name again, and I just said yes. The miracle part was the person didn't even live in Nevada, and they called Uber to come pick me up and sent me the name of the person. So I told the nurse the name of the person and the type of car they would be in. The Uber driver showed up when she walked me out to the car. I said his name like he was a friend. He waved, and she never questioned if the name matched what was on the paperwork. We were not allowed to use public transportation, taxis, or Ubers to go home for safety reasons. I'm home, and surgery went perfect with no problems. The surgical team did their typical time out, as they call it, which means they prayed before they did the surgery. And after the doctor prays, the surgical team goes around and each one of the team says, Amen. I always know the surgery goes well when I open my eyes and they are all standing there looking at me, even the required cardiologist. So right now, every 15 minutes for the next 30 minutes, they need me to record my pain level, and I can't take any pain medication. So it is doing what it's supposed to, because for the first hour, the pain was 80% better, and right now it has dropped down to 60%, which is still better. So that is a good sign. If the next surgery, which will be on the right side, 3 through 5, does the same thing, then the last 2 surgeries will all be done permanently when they include the C6 and 7. August 31st, 2013, I yelled in pain, "Help me, God," as I was having my second heart attack. I had never felt pain like that before, and God was there. This morning, August 2nd, 2016, I yelled out, "Touch me, God," as my spirit was in pain. I have never felt a feeling like this before. I knew my body was physically withdrawing from the pain medications from the 34th hospital visit in the last 3.5 years. But there was something else. My ears were ringing. I could see my surrounding, yet it didn't seem to be a room. I wasn't shaking as usual. Still, I felt every hair on my body. I seemed to be swirling as I walked to the kitchen, as if I was watching myself. I sat on my bed, and for the second time in my life, I said out loud, "I can't do this no more." This time was different. I had tears streaming down my face. I was tired. Physically, I hadn't slept in days. Hungry, but not hungry. Mentally, my thoughts were flying so fast. My back surgery, my heart, my arthritis, my nerves, my growing relationship with my daughter Ryan, my distant relationship with my son Garrett, my estranged relationship with my son Corey. Wanting my own place, scared to be alone because of my health, my wonderful vacation to New York. The wonderful people I have built friendships with, the people that I have stayed close to, the friendships I've missed, trying to date. Oh man, maybe I'll stay single. I need to go to the bank, pay the rent. Weather is an enemy. Too hot, too windy, too many doctors. Got to go to the pharmacy. Nope, gotta wait till after my appointment on Wednesday. Tired of taking medications. They stopped 2 and added 1. Whoopee. I will go to Walmart after the Air Force Base, old neighborhood, our home. Why did it have to be Ricky? Got to get my nails done. Got to stop smoking. Shouldn't have started again. Spiritually drained. Too much on my plate. Haven't been writing or reading. Have isolated myself with the justification, long as I post to Facebook, I'm not. Hit and miss praying. Out of sync with God.
Out of sync with God. Out of sync with God.
Somewhere, somehow, I let go of God's hand. I tried to think back to when, but my thoughts came to a halt. Silence. Quiet. All of a sudden, the ringing stopped. My body calmed. My room came into focus, and a familiar voice on the TV said,
"So the time with this message tonight is God will meet you where you are."
And for 20 minutes, all I saw was Joyce Myers talking to me, telling me exactly where I was and what I was feeling, and God was there. I wasn't being dysfunctional I wasn't resting on my laurels. I wasn't even sick and tired of actually being sick and tired. I was dead. I didn't care about talking on the phone, texting friends on Messenger, posting to Facebook, talking to my roommates, playing with the dog, or even watching TV. All I cared about at that moment was me and my relationship with God. I knew it would be a hard day physically. After getting out of the hospital, my body goes through withdrawal. So the first thing was trying to get me as comfortable as possible. Lots of water, try to eat, and keep my mind focused on what was right in front of me at the moment. Get back in the now. I made the calls I needed to make and text the people closest to me to let them know that I was okay. I then gathered all the paperwork and things I would need for my doctor's appointment on Wednesday and started looking into taking care of my living will and life insurance, overstepping the fear that if I did it, I would die. Once I had completed all I could for the day, I knew what was left. I didn't need to go to church like so many say you must do. Right then, me walking into a building would not do anything. That would be like me going to the hospital and just sitting in the lobby. I needed something more personal, deeper, something that no human could give me. I knew I was standing at the bottom of the step to my next spiritual level with God. My past experience showed me it always got real dark in my life right before God took me higher. I reflected back over the last few years and looked at the different levels I had already gone through. Am I scared? Terrified? Am I ready? Not really. Do I believe? Yes. Do I have faith? Yes. For those that think belief and faith are the same thing, here is the difference. When my children were young, I took them to the circus. There is a guy on a high wire with a wheelbarrow, and he's going to push a man in it across the rope with no safety net. Sitting in my seat, watching, I believe that he will do it. But getting in the wheelbarrow myself is having faith that he will do it. I got down on my knees, something I hadn't done in a long time because of my back. It didn't hurt. I asked God to once again forgive me for walking outside his will, for all the wreckage that I had caused. I thanked him for all the good I had also been allowed to do. I promised to get back to the gift he had given me, which is writing. And I asked him to continue to allow me the honor to show his glory. I quietly said, Jesus touched me, and God was there. And I stepped up and walked boldly to his throne. No stroke, the CAT scan of the brain says. So there apparently is one there, and the one of my back shows nothing. They have ordered more labs 2 times since then, and the nurse drawing the blood asked them to take out a whole vial directly from the IV so that she can do a rainbow and have extra. I've seen too much today being here in the ER the whole time. I have a question. Do you believe God would allow something devastating to happen to someone and then allow the same thing to happen to them again a year or more later? Like, for example, a woman loses her child to cancer. After she has gotten to the point of where she can now adopt a child, only for that child to turn around and die of cancer at the same age as her first child. If so, why would God allow that? That just seems so cruel. Woohoo! In the hospital on a Sunday morning. Guess what we will be doing most likely today? Nothing, 'cause it's Sunday. Actually, the cardiologist department is being called in on me. They didn't like my answer when they asked, what treatment plan did your cardiologist give you after you had the second abnormal stress test within 4 months? I guess the stupid "what are you talking about" look gave them the answer. When I went for my follow-up, everything was okay, so the Air Force Base never sent me to the off-base cardiologist. My phone number had changed at that time, so I never got a call from them. And dealing with the back issues, I honestly forgot about the appointment. So here we are. Since I am also on SSI now, UMC doctors, since they are not private doctors, can override the Air Force Base treatment if they don't feel it's doing the job. Great. My doctors are playing tug of war because they do not like each other. Except for the little bit of macaroni and cheese I had Saturday. I have not eaten since early Friday morning, between midnight and 1 a.m., and I can't, just in case. So the next move to determine what the cardiologist decides. The ER doc said they may want to do the stress test to get their own, or do a cath since it's been 9 months since the last one. So depending on what time the cardiologist comes to see me will determine will things happen. Standing at the crosswalk, a 15-year-old boy laughs out loud with joyful sound. I turned to look as everyone else did. Boy bouncing on his toes.
How's your day been?
Looking directly at me. Me? It's going great. How is your day? And the look on this handsome, well-groomed, correctly dressed young man was so bright and happy it was infectious. All at the crosswalk was laughing. Boy.
You are just so beautiful.
High-pitched laugh while still bouncing on his toes.
Oh my God, I just had to tell you.
Me. Why, thank you very much. As I blushed and even turned my head, I had not expected him to say what he did. I turned back towards him. Thank you. Boy.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a great day.
Me. You have a great day, too. Moral. Earlier this morning, my second bus driver had a difficult passenger, and she handled it wonderfully. As I got off the bus, I quietly said to her, "You handled that great. Have a blessed day." Not knowing how God was going to turn that simple remark into a group of people laughing a few hours later. No new stroke, no brain problems that they can see. I have neck pain and around the spine pain. Took my first steps after losing ability to walk. Finally passed ability to swallow test. Physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy. The doctors are hoping with me as quickly as it came is how quickly it will go. Right at this moment, they can't name it because they don't know where it came from. Been moved from the MICU to my private room. Seems more like my own floor room. 1439 above the burn ward at UMC. Well, they determined it is the neck spinal cord area and the lower back spinal cord area that are really tight or narrow, could be caused from anything from a childhood injury to aging. I think of all the times I was hit in those areas from childhood up to the last time I was in an abusive relationship, and I'm just grateful to be alive after listening to them talk about how easy it is to hurt your neck. They increased my gabapentin from 1,800 milligrams to 2,400 milligrams a day with exercise to keep it from narrowing more because it's not touching the actual cord. Soon as it's approved, they are moving me to a rehab so I can get stronger. I was able to lift my legs about 3 inches today. I had a sandwich for breakfast and still eat like a 2-year-old, but this time it's 'cause I took the crust off and had crumbs everywhere. Talking varies depending on if I'm just talking or trying to recall or repeat something. It seems like everything has slowed down. Now that I have an idea of what this problem is, I can ask my Father specifically what to heal. Finally got to try to eat, and they gave me my favorite, macaroni and cheese. Still look like a 2-year-old trying to eat. Oh, my Lord in heaven, I know where I got my sense of humor. I ask my Father, my Lord, and my BFF, the Holy Spirit, to allow me to always have the heart of a child. If you could see me right now, I look like a child doing things, eating, walking, talking. It's funny, but then not. I'm supposed to be an adult, and my daughter who came to see me acted more like one than me. I am good. God has me. I was born with a broken heart. God worked on that first. My heart looks beautiful right now. I was born with a nervous disorder, and guess what God is working on now? My nerves, unfortunately, they cover such a large section of my body. Everything that has happened in the last 9 months has been nerve related. I have no fear. I'm looking forward to what God is doing. I'm almost 51 in age, 20 in sobriety, and apparently 2 in God's eyes. Love it. Anyone want to adopt me? I passed my physical therapy evaluation, speech, basic memory, lifting legs and arms, getting up and sitting down, getting in and out of bed, sitting on the toilet, getting off the toilet, walking with a walker, walking and talking at the same time. All the strength tests. I practiced all day to pass the test. They had to give me pain shots each time they were due because they saw me working out and were cheering me on. The nurse made sure I rested, ate, and drank water. Whenever anyone came in my room, they stayed and talked as long as they could to help my speech. I get to go home with home health, most likely in the morning, because it was already 4 p.m. Waiting for social worker to do her thing, then Horizon Health to come to hospital within the hour so I can leave. I doubt it will be within the hour, but once they are finished, I'm free to go. Doctors have already done their part. I noticed looking back over the On This Day from Facebook that on every 9/11 since 2013, I have been in the hospital. That's creepy. Made it with no problems. I hate walking even slower than before and leaning more on the walker. Leaning forward is supposed to take some of the pressure off my spine. When I got home from the hospital, my roommate had finally kicked out her husband, who slept in a different bedroom for the last 10 years. So she informed me that she would be moving by the end of the year. That's right, got to start looking for my own place. I have my eyes on one place. Your rent is based on income, and it's not far from where I am at. My new conditions are called spinal lumbar stenosis and spinal cervical stenosis. Since they don't know what triggered it, each step I take will be in faith because walking and different movements can trigger them. Well, my speech therapy evaluation, I passed, so I don't have to have that. My nurse will be coming 3 times a week for 3 months. Then I will be re-evaluated. My physical therapist will be 3 times a week. My occupational therapist 2 times a week. And she will be bringing me toys to help my mind and hand coordination. She also gave me a list of things I need around the house, such as a shower chair, a big wall dry erase calendar board to put my schedule on, etc. She liked that I already liked to write and do crafts, but she also said I needed to get some 3D puzzles, some Legos that make something hard. It has been suggested by all of them I should get a pet or in a relationship because touch helps with healing. That is funny. Since I have to move between 2 and 3 months, I've been given a list of requirements the place has to have if I move by myself. I don't know when I'm supposed to look for a place and find a relationship with them coming 7 days a week. They have knocked out any morning and afternoon meeting, and I got to schedule doctor's appointments in there somewhere. And on top of that, the phone call you usually get one time after you leave the hospital to see how you're doing. Today, when they call, she said, "We've been instructed to call you once a week for 3 months. Is this day and time okay?" Even though the lady I rent my room from has not said anything, I know she must not be happy, 'cause she does not like people coming in her house unless it's her mom or older brother. Even her kids can't come in. Yesterday was just the nurse. Today is physical therapy. Thank God, since I use my hands and arms a lot, they are getting stronger on their own. It's more of my legs standing and that thingy when a lady is supposed to squat down and pick up something. Tried that the other day and couldn't get back up. My body didn't like the drastic change in the weather. My poor brain still has brain fog, and if I don't do something the moment I think of it, oh well, hopefully it will pop back up in there. Besides that, doing good. Doctor's appointment went well. He said,
There is significant weakness in your legs from the appointment 4 weeks ago, but considering your legs wouldn't move at all in early September, the fact that you walked out the hospital on a walker was divine intervention.
It seems like every doctor I get believes in God. I have to have all my other doctors send him reports so he can get an overall picture of what's been going on in the last 3.5 years. He also is sending me to an eye doc since my vision was affected. After the last 2 back surgeries, he said the oral surgery will be next. Occupational therapy and physical therapy tried to kill me yesterday with the exercises. After the last one left at 1 p.m., I sat on my bed, and the next thing I knew, Evelyn was knocking on my door calling me for dinner. It was 6 p.m. I guess she is off her cooking strike. She even said good morning when I spoke to her. I've been praying for her, and I know my friends have. I always keep a pleasant attitude with her, even when I feel terrible, hoping that seeing what I'm going through, her problems are not that bad to her. She's been told she needs to lose weight, and my fear is one of these days when her and her husband get into it, she's going to have a heart attack. I gave her a thank you card for all she does do last month before I ended up in the hospital, and she said thanks. I always make sure I'm polite and leave no mess. I even picked up after or reminded her husband sometimes she had asked him to do something because he had early onset dementia, just to keep peace in the house. I still plan to leave at the end of the year. Hopefully I'll leave behind a presence of God when I do. My doctor this morning was talking about the possibility of neck and back surgery for the spinal stenosis. Since I already have the cervical spondylitis, the arthritis and the pinched nerve in the left side of my neck, some fused discs, degenerative disc disease, and ankylosing spondylitis, which all would require some form of surgery. He's thinking of how to do them with as few surgeries as possible. I'm thinking of how to do them with no surgeries as possible. After the last back surgery, I was in a lot of pain, and I slept most of the weekend. I just came from the eye doctor because that was one of the follow-ups due to the fact that my eyes were the first affected during the spinal stenosis episode. But even before that, my vision was changing about every 3 to 4 months, to even the last time my eye doctor said, "Let me put in a request for a full workup and check for everything." Unfortunately, the stenosis hit first, and after a million tests, the doctor came in and looked in my eyes after they were dilated, and what seemed like forever, he sat back and moved aside the machine and told me that I have cataracts in both eyes. He says that explains why my vision seems to keep changing a lot over the last year. The only solution is cataract surgery, and that is not a very good word for me right now. After the final back surgery on the 21st, the next is oral surgery. Before we were decided what we're going to do, but the rest of the back, neck, and hand issues. Now I have my eyes to pray and contemplate about to see where do they fall in line of importance. He gave me a prescription, but told me to think about it, 'cause the sooner the surgery, the better. I think back to the time I was 14, and after an eye exam, the doctor saying I would probably be blind by the time I was 20. I've been blessed, and technology today is so advanced that advanced cataract surgery now is not as dangerous. I will get a second opinion, like I do with all surgeries. So I'll pray on it, and whatever God's plans are for my life, I'm willing for His will to be done. First of all, thank you, my Adonai, for blessing me with another year. Sometimes I just want a hug, a genuine, real, I love you hug. But living with pain all the time, it is really hard. It takes a lot out of you, and most people don't seem to understand it, because God has blessed me with the ability to walk through it and keep me happy. My demeanor is mostly always happy, and I keep my head up. But there are some days that I would just like to be able to put my head on someone's chest, and he wraps his arms around me and say, everything is going to be okay. I don't expect anyone to understand what I'm saying. I'm just talking feelings. The human touch helps the body to heal, but when you have to live with a chronic illness, people flee. They are so afraid to touch you, like you are going to break. I went in for a doctor's appointment, but when they did the leg push and the arm push test, I could only lift my leg 2 inches again. And when they asked about nausea and blurred vision, they wanted to do another CAT scan to make sure there was no bleeding in my brain. There isn't. They are just overly cautious due to the fact that for 9 months I had no signs of stenosis, and when it hit, it was drastic. From perfectly normal to 80% paralysis in 3 hours. Also, they don't know what triggered it. The fact that I went from no signs of cataracts in July of 2015 to needing surgery in both eyes. They lowered my gabapentin because it was causing me to be lightheaded, and they switched me to a stronger sleep medication specifically for insomnia. They added a breakthrough pain med to take in between the morphine doses, which of course is oxy. So now I take 3 pain meds and a muscle relaxer. I am home now. Got to go back in 2 weeks after I see my back pain medicine doctor and see what his plans are regarding the stenosis next week. Otherwise, it's off to a neurosurgeon. Having considered myself part of the occult most of my life, and now trying to live for Jesus Christ, my doctor even said it seems like I am under a spiritual attack. Because even though I am being hit health-wise, I am also recovering miraculously. So please say an extra prayer, because it's not just health stuff going on. There are other real weird things going on in my life that can't be explained. Doctor's appointment Thursday, and home health continues for 9 more weeks. Or now till after the cataract surgery, which would add 4 weeks. So the oral surgery comes after the eyes. Came for a doctor's appointment and somehow ended up in the emergency room. And they want to send me to UMC ASAP because I haven't been seen by a neurosurgeon since the spinal stenosis hit, and my symptoms are still the same, with loss of bowels at times, severe neck pain, very weak on left side of body, loss of judgment when going to turn corners, more weakness in hands, etc. It appears important enough that they don't want me to catch the bus. This day is not starting the way I planned it. It is 4 a.m. and just got a morphine shot because the steroids they are trying for my arthritis has given me a mega headache. The part from the back surgeries is still swollen, and on the 21st it will be a month. Their concern is I have the same arthritis pinched nerve on the left side of my neck. It is not as bad yet, but combined with the cervical spondylitis and the cervical stenosis, we need the arthritis to stop inflaming, or better yet, just go away. In the name of my Adonai Jesus, it is written, no weapon formed against me. I can't remember it all, but I know I am my Adonai's favorite. Get behind me, Satan. My Heavenly Father has things for me to do, and when I go to the hospital and the stays are back to back to back, my mighty God is getting ready to show His glory. Take that worry out of your hearts. Since yesterday, everyone who has come in my room has heard the audio drama Bible I listened to, Bible IS, and have asked about it. 2 have already downloaded it to their phone. Praise God. 1 has already told some of her friends. That's how it works. Each one, teach one. There are too many lost souls and a lot of people living in fear right now. The harvest is great, but the reapers are few. May God touch all that are chosen to renew their passion for Him. I'm doing great. I still have brain fog from the spinal stenosis. It affected me more than my strokes or seizures. So I forget a lot and I have to do a lot of brain and hand coordination stuff, like my crafts, jigsaw puzzles, PlayStation, video games, such hard work. On my long to-do list that my nurse and I wrote out, the only thing I have left for this year's goals is to have my dental work done. For example, today I went in to order my new eyeglasses. Normally, since one of my ex-husbands would be paying for them, I would always get a cheap frame and no extras because my prescription for my lenses are always over $300 by themselves. But today I picked out a nice frame, got the best lenses quality, also progressive and UV transitions. It cost me almost $600, but I am worth the best. I then picked up something I had ordered. The rest will be delivered. Then I got some things I needed and finished the day with getting my nails and pedicure done. I have been taking care of me for a change, but I have also helped others when they least expected it. And in return, God has been blessing me by just seeing the joy on their faces. Another angel has gone to the big meeting. I will miss you, Papa C.J. Jones. My favorite saying from him was,
"If you are not having fun, I don't know what you're waiting for."
Almost all of my core group is now watching from the big meeting. He is no longer in pain, and even though I will miss him, he, along with Diane, Yvonne, Robin, Greg, or Dr. Death as we called him, Jawan, John C., Deborah, Greg, Bocata, Steve, Bernard, Ivory, Michelle, Ricky, Gloria, Nicole, and Philip are all now in no more pain. They all helped shape me into the woman I am today. Holy God and comforting Father, please give me eyes to see and a heart to offer loving care to those around me who are grieving. During this special time of year, please use me to be a blessing to those in sorrow. In addition, dear God, help me to also encourage and support the joy of those who are rejoicing around me. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. While misery may love company, grief tends to make us withdraw and hide. Let's remember those who have lost loved ones, especially this time of year. Let them know how you value their loved ones and miss him or her too. Please keep those folks in your prayers and in your social plans as well. In addition, make this a season of true joy and affirm others by rejoicing in their blessings. Made it through another week. I didn't want to kill anyone. I didn't cuss anyone out. My mind kept trying to run away. One of my personalities threatened to file a restraining order on me, and my invisible friend is not talking to me right now. Another year is coming to a close, and God has found a reason once again to let me see it. This was a very spiritually growing year. Again, this year, so many that I interacted with every day were called home to God. Many times I could not get to places I usually went, but God blessed me to take 2 vacations, 10 days in California and 7 days in New York. He walked me through only 6 hospital stays this year, 4 back surgeries, spinal stenosis that had my legs completely paralyzed for 3 days, and they were going to send me to rehab for 2 or more weeks. Once I knew what was wrong, I prayed, God, if it is your will, I will gladly go to the rehab. But now, please know my heart. I would really like to go home. 2 days later, I walked out of that hospital. I know Ricky would be so proud of me. I didn't lose my faith in God. It actually increased. I didn't harden my heart, and hopefully God will send my Boaz. God has blessed me with so much these past few months that walking through what I have already with faith was worth it. Facebook reminded me of a conversation I had with Ricky in 2014.
Hey, baby, you gonna watch the game?
There's no game on.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't. It's the playoffs. The BCS Championship. Is that today?
Damn, I should have bet you. You actually forgot. I can't believe I didn't bet you. Damn.
I already owe you from the other bets you still haven't redeemed.
Can't believe I missed that opportunity.
Only thing left is my soul.
I should have bet you.
As February comes, I have moved into a small apartment. Very small, but it is mine, and I am starting over. But do I really want to? I know I must make some choices. What about the promise I have made Ricky when he found out he did not have long to live and had asked me to never close my heart to love, and that God was going to send me someone better than him? Ricky was such a wonderful man. There was no way I was going to find anyone like him. What about finding my birth family? Technology is much more advanced now. Maybe I should try again. Do I even really want to go on? I am so tired. It wouldn't be so bad if I just went to sleep and didn't wake up again. Right now, I'm standing in my kitchen waiting on my pizza to finish cooking. I have been up since 5 a.m. with decorating ideas. Really getting a good laugh because I literally have only the important things: a coffee pot, a television, and a PlayStation. Then God changed my life drastically and gave me a new life in Him. Everything in my life is and will be brand new to me. All I have is less than 2 years old. The last 2 days have been very emotional. I just finished going through and transferring over 22,000 pictures that Ricky and I had taken between 2012 and 2015 to flash drives to pack up with the few mementos I held on to, such as his sobriety trips, his birth certificate, the cards he gave me, and his memorial picture. I miss him. He always had that big smile that just made you smile. I have such wonderful memories. He brought to my life such joy and fun, and most of all, God. And even though I look at it as God put him in my life for me, someone told me,
have you ever thought maybe God put you in his life because he didn't have much time left?
Either way, we brought out the best in each other. Now it's time to keep making new memories. I want to send a special thank you to all those people that at one time or another still do hurt, use, disrespect, lied, cheated, stole, abandoned, talked bad, or any other of those negatives in life to me. Without you, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. Just want you all to know how grateful I am that God put you in my life for that season. I pray that God gives you the desires of your hearts and that you too have joy, peace, love, and happiness. It's a beautiful, crisp day here in Las Vegas. I have run into the kindest people in my complex. This morning, I was in the laundry room trying to add money to my card, and the machine kept spitting it back at me. There was a guy who had came in at the same time, and he got curious as to why I was laughing, so I showed him, and we both started laughing. Then he said,
"You can use my card and just refill it when the machine is working."
I said, "Thank you, but let me try one more time." And it worked that time. I know the laughter wasn't for me. Whatever that man was going through, apparently God put me there to put a smile on his face, because the man that walked in there was not the man I left in there. I never know when God is going to use me to help someone else. When I went for my walk this morning, there was a cop car waiting at the light. I waved. I always do. Maybe during the day, my wave may help them when they don't feel appreciated. But I am the one who benefits. The other day, I was in the store, and I knew it was going to take me longer than the 3 people behind me, so I let them go first. The last guy, after I was done and called an Uber, was actually the driver. He told me, because of my kindness, if I ever needed a ride, just call him 20 minutes before and it will be no charge. God always takes care of me. Got my entertainment center, my desk for school, I have enrolled in the University of Phoenix for cybersecurity. I do not plan to be on disability my whole life. The agreement is if I stay out of the hospital, I can continue. End tables to go with living room set, a pot and pan set so I can cook some real food, and a whole lot of other things. First time actually furnishing my own place. Operation Home in full effect. Ever have a day you should just go back to bed? First, I broke a nail, then hit my knuckles on the kitchen cabinets above the sink. That made my heart skip a few beats. Couldn't remember where I put my notebook that has all my medical doctors in it. Then after I pulled out everything looking for it, it was sitting on the couch. The package that was supposed to arrive yesterday has been postponed till Friday due to weather. Seriously, the weather looks fine. I've eaten 6 ice cream sandwiches because I'm so stressed. I think I'll just call it a day and start over tomorrow. Being an adult is overrated. Today, one of my assignments was to write about the biggest challenge in your life that I have overcome. Ha! I know what that has been. I didn't go into a lot of detail, but I briefly described what I've been through the last 4 years. I was not prepared for the feedback from my classmates and instructor. It brought me to tears. What really impressed me was I didn't hear the "I'm sorry" remarks that so many people say because they don't know what to say. 90% of my classmates are longtime professionals who are advancing their careers or working on a second degree. The remarks were uplifting and inspiring. A lot of "glad you are here." And of course, my favorite one, "thank you." I can't imagine what that must have been like, but knowing you went through that lets me know I can get through school. I made an instant support academic group. I never know why I may go through something, but most of the time it is not for me. The 2 men that introduced me to God by being walking examples, my big brother Philip, Earl. I miss you, Philip. And of course, Ricky Carroll, who not only taught me how to love God, but to love myself and laugh at everything. I continue to honor his memory by passing on the inner joy and laughter to others.
If he doesn't love you, if you can't look up to him as a spiritual example, if he doesn't challenge you to grow, if you can't fall asleep safely in his arms, if you don't catch yourself glancing at him for no reason at all, if he doesn't put a smile on your face, he's not the one for you.
It bothers me to see so many posts lately talking about how actions of others are the fault of God. Someone treats someone badly. God's fault. Marriage breaks up. God, why didn't you answer my prayer and keep my marriage together? Maniac beats his wife, then asks God why he didn't stop him. First off, let's remove God from the picture. He gave man free will and is not to be blamed. Now I will tell you the simple secret to solve this dilemma. It works so well. Many have made millions by writing about it in books. You may have even tried it, but stopped because nothing seemed to change. That happens for one of three reasons, in my opinion. I expected instant results, didn't give it long enough, or didn't do it right. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do, and I challenge you to do it for 30 continuous days. It doesn't cost nothing. Takes less than 10 seconds of your time, and all that's required is a sincere heart. Are you ready? Say the following out loud. Lord, please change me. On one of our last walks, in what had become a traditional weekly walk down the Fremont Street Experience, that was the night he asked me to make the promises if God should take him home. I remember laughing. You're not going anywhere. We have too many plans. And besides, why would God finally allow me to be happy and genuinely in love with someone just to take you? That would be so cruel.
Just promise me you will not close your heart, and you will always allow yourself to fall in love again.
Yeah, I promise, but you're not going anywhere.
If it happens, just know God will have someone even better than me for you. You wait, you'll know. He will come to you when you're ready.
Ha 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 ha. Better than you? Right. When Ricky was alive, I personally believe I was a reflection of how he treated me. I learned this when I had agreed in March of 2016 to be a roommate with a very close friend of mine. We had been friends for years. He had helped me walk through the last few years since he is also disabled. He was able to tell me what to expect from doctors and what questions to ask. The first week I was there, he asked me if I knew how to shoot a gun. I replied, aim and shoot. After a quick lesson of removing the safety, looking at the clip and the bullet in the chamber, then how to eject and reload a fresh clip, he said, if the person gets past the alarm system and the two dogs, you keep shooting till they go down. That should have been my warning to leave then. It did not last long. He had anger issues and our personalities just clashed. I started making plans on leaving after the first month. After 6 weeks, one day while I was on the phone with Mama Pat, he came in with an attitude and he did not notice I was on the phone, so I just placed it down by me on the couch without hanging it up. I cannot remember exactly what triggered the argument, but at one point he walked into the bedroom and reemerged holding his gun and placed it on the entertainment center next to the television. I said, "What is the gun for?" Knowing Mama Pat would be able to hear me. He didn't respond. He just stood there. I made sure I didn't say anything that would tip him off that Mama Pat was on the phone. So I asked, "Are you planning on cleaning it?" Something he did a lot. He just stood there. He was still standing there when Mama Pat pulled up in front of the apartment 20 minutes later. He did not move or say anything until I had packed up everything and was in Mama Pat's car. He came over to the car window on her side. He whispered something I couldn't hear, and we drove off. I didn't ask what he said, and she never told me. It was like he was in a trance. In November, he made the news. According to the report, Michael was trying to help his son get his life back on track. He had picked him up from a homeless shelter a few days prior to the shooting. Michael told the people that he and his son had frequent arguments in the past. He said that he and his son got into an argument the night of the shooting. He also claimed that he did not own a gun and had no memory of shooting his son. It also stated that he claimed that he has memory from the depression and anxiety meds he was taking, and that there was no physical contact between him and his son before the shooting. A .40 caliber handgun was found hidden in his apartment. Thank you for watching my life story. Would you please help me by liking, commenting, and sharing? Thank you. Have a blessed day.